Let's turn our attentions more northward into a wetter climate in Seattle, Washington, Seattle Seahawks. They brought in a brand new quarterback after trading away their starting quarterback, Geno Smith, to the Las Vegas Raiders. They brought in Sam Darnold, who obviously incredibly impressed last season at the Minnesota Vikings. They brought in Cooper Kupp. They brought in DeMarcus Lawrence. I mean, that's a strong three to get in. It's an aged three, I admit. It's not exactly screaming youth, but it's a strong three to get in. They also brought in Marcus Valdes-Scantling. They brought in Shaquille Griffin, Drew Lock. They re-signed Jonathan Hankins. And then on their losing side of it, I'm not really angry about anyone they sort of lost. They lost Draymond Jones, Roy Robertson Harris, Laken Tomlinson, Tyler Lockett, Noah Fant, Rayshard Jenkins, Artie Burns. They did obviously make some trades. Like we said, they traded Geno Smith to the Raiders and got a pick back for that. They also traded away their star wide receiver DK Metcalf to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Did picks with that as well and subsequent picks. They did a lot of moving around within the draft with their picks as well. Did take offensive tackle Gray Zabel / guard, can play anywhere on the offensive line, really. Gray Zabel in the first round at the 18th pick out of North Dakota State. They took the safety Nick Imanwari, that's from South Carolina, a lot of people's number one safety in this draft as well. Took Jalen Milroe, quarterback out of Alabama. They picked quite a lot of players. They had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 picks within that draft in April. Andrew, Seattle, lots of more movement than I've ever seen from Seattle, I think, in the last few years. Is this going to pay off for them?
Yeah, I think they could be a bit of a dark horse for a wild card spot for this. I know they're 11-2. They're the fourth favourites in their division to win it, but I think they're a bit of a dark horse. When you look at what they did last year, and what was their record last year? Did you say, Fred? Was it 10 games they won?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were 10-7, and they drove it close with.
They won 10 games with what looked like a bit of a ropey offensive line. They had Geno Smith at quarterback, and they transitioned their wide receiver one last year. Now I think they may have upgraded on offense this year with Sam Darnold and Gray Zabel, and you've got Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas there as well. So. I think them saying, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, you're now wide receiver one. You're the guy. We're going to bring in some pieces around you. We're going to strengthen the O-line. We've got Sam Darnold in, who I think is more mobile. We saw what he could do last year with a good team. I think they've now got a second year head coach that knows what to do, and he'll be more prepared. They've got new offensive coordinator, which kind of fits their game style. We're going to see a lot more of Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, so there's going to be less pressure on Darnold, and we've seen that O-line. So I think they've upgraded on last year. So if they've upgraded on last year, the schedule's not got particularly massively difficult for them, other than the people in their own division. So I think they could be a sneaky team to potentially get a wild card spot. I think they could repeat 10-7 again for me, with this having these question marks over the Rams. I think it's an upgrade.
I think the true test, Adam, really is, can Sam Darnold be the Sam Darnold that we had last season? And unfortunately, he hasn't been that consistently since he's joined the league. But we all enjoyed watching Sam Darnold play last season and his journey with the Minnesota Vikings. And we were all a little bit shocked, I think, that the Vikings did let him go, even though they did bring in JJ McCarthy, and obviously he was meant to be the starting quarterback for the Vikings. Did an alien just land in someone's room there?
Not mine. I think Adam's had the ice cream man.
And no, it's the ice cream. Is the ice cream van back?
No, not yet.
It's a bank holiday Monday. He should be resting up, not delivering ice cream.
He's not out there at the moment, no.
He's not out there in a minute. Who was it who was delivering ice cream to you last time?
Shedeur Sanders.
I don't know, some random guy. He's always Sanders. Out there. Yeah.
It was Shedeur Sanders, yes, I recall.
That was it, yeah. He's got to be good at something, though, isn't he? So,
Well, yeah, exactly. Really, the nuts and bolts of this question is, can Sam Darnold do it again?
Yeah, I think he's got a good chance. Andrew will know this. I can't remember. Clint Kubiak, is he from the Sean McVay tree?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's all Yeah, so it's all coming from the same sort of thing. So his new OC is going to probably play him in exactly the same way that
Alvin Kamara
Kevin O'Connell played him for the Vikings. So I think there's a good chance that he will be able to do what he did for the Vikings at Seattle. And as Andrew said, the O-line has improved. Gray's Able, I think, is a good pick for them and will help. So the O-line has improved, not a lot, but a little bit. The wide receiver core, I'm not sold on it, to be honest. I think Jaxon Smith-Njigba will be really good. I don't really like anything else. I think the rest of it is...
If Cooper Kupp's fit...
No, he's done. I'm not interested. And I just don't see it happening. I know what you're saying. If he's fit, in theory, he should... But there's a reason the Rams got rid of him.
Yeah,
and there's a reason.
He's on his way out, isn't he? And they're on their way up.
But if you want to talk about a team trying to get into the playoffs, then I just don't see it. So I'm not overly fussed on Cooper Kupp there. I don't think there's any real depth after that. I mean, you're talking about a 5th round pick in Torrey Horton, who you're hoping will do pretty well. He's looked all right, but I wouldn't say he's great. So I think a lot of this is going to be run game first, and then it's going to be play action, which is kind of makes sense with Kubiak. Kenneth Walker's made out of glass, so that doesn't bode well. And I like Zach Charbonnet. I think he'll be all right. But I just think the offense needs to improve. I just don't think it's good enough, and that it's not going to do a great deal in order to really push you on here. Could they do the same again as last year? Yeah, absolutely. I think that's probably a fair assessment on them, because the defense is still pretty good. But in the grand scheme of things, I just don't think they're going to do anything amazing, and I think that's the real issue for them. They haven't pushed on enough, is what I would argue.
You're going to tell very much later that I did not look at their depth chart when I was doing my predictions earlier, because I have been a little bit too bold on the Seattle Seahawks. I do say so myself, because I agree. I think they're I think the wide receiver room is really not very good. Will it matter?
Was it loads better last year?
I think I have more confidence in DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Jaxon Smith-Njigba than I do Jaxon Smith-Njigba, Cooper Kupp, and Torrey Horton /
as we've said, I think you're going to see a lot more of Kenneth Walker if he stays fit, catching the ball. Like, he's going to play.
You won't. He's made of glass. Who will die?
I've got faith in him this year. I think.
I know you do, but that's because you're mad.
He's having a big
year. I think Zach Charbonnet is a really strong two.
Yeah.
I think he's a really good two, and I think that'll be good. I just don't. I now look at it, don't see it. I do sort of trust Jaxon Smith-Njigba to pop on though, and to do.
Wait, you said you've been bold on them, and I said they're a sneaky team as a dark horse for a wild card, and thought that was a bit bold. Fred, have you got them way top in the division? Spoiler alert!
I can't remember. But it might not look good in about 20 minutes' time.
I think they haven't moved the needle much. That's the problem.
I know what you mean. I get what you're looking at it a bit more. We've made sort of this argument in loads of these deep dives of like a very good defense and a slower offense, and I think they've got the right mixture on offense to be able to put points on there, and they've got a good enough defense to kick on, because they're a fairly decent young defense who's only getting better and better and better. And I do think they've reinforced in the right way in terms of like DeMarcus Lawrence. I know he's not the world beater he once was, but he is an X-Factor guy. He can be, at least. Nico Imanwori, backing up Julian Love and Kobe Bryant. It's a good pick as well. I just now look at their offense and go like, yeah, all right, I do trust it going completely through Kenneth Walker. But do I trust it enough is my only thing. But I don't. But also, Andrew is right. When you look at the scheduling for some of these guys, it's a fairly all right schedule for a lot of these, for this division. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I've been a little bit too bullish. I can't really remember where. Actually, I have got it here now, but we'll talk about that later. How bad it might be.